this video, we will talk on me and the world, taking our 11th step of time management. Prioritize your spiritual life. In the 1960s, Srila Prabhupada wrote an article entitled No Time, the Chronic Disease of Modern Man. In it, he comments, the busy man should try to know as to where he is going. This life is but a spot in his longest sojourn. And the same person should not be busy with the spot only. Nobody says that the body should not be maintained, but everyone should know from Bhagavad Gita that the body is the outward dress and the soul is the real person who puts on the dress. So if the dress is taken care of only, without any care of the real person, it is sheer foolishness and a waste of time. Oftentimes, even those who appreciate the spiritual dimension in life have trouble finding time for quality practice. Work or family demands can occupy our attention and suck our energies. Many resign themselves to defect and instead resort to deepen their spirituality later in life when worldly demands have eased. But will life ever be free of unexpected distraction and pressure? Car breakdown, family feuds needs to be mediated, home needs improvement, friends seek advice and attention, health problems slow us down, and work demands drain our free time. It will always be a challenge to find time. Thus, putting our spirituality on hold in anticipation of a better situation is a risky strategy. There's no need to wait and no time to lose. As they say, trust no future, however pleasant. We can easily look for immediate ways to re-engineer our lifestyle to support our spiritual aspiration. Improving in our time management skills and setting some goals is usually the best place to start. You can start with the first step of identify and eliminate the usual time killers such as television, internet browsing, unnecessary phone talks and like. Second, have clear plans and schedules for your day, carefully avoiding procrastination and lethargy. Third, create bite-sized goals that you can easily stick to. For example, you might like to commit 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita every day. You will finish the entire book in 1 year. Fourth, learn to strike a proper work-life balance, where you meet your financial needs and worldly responsibilities, yet simultaneously factor in quality time for meditation, scriptural study and introspection. Schedule the time for these direct spiritual practices and guard those hours with your life. The famous verse in Bible reminds us, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?"
We don't have time because we don't make time for time-saving activities. So, we live in a schedule, in a culture which is overstressed, overworked, overscheduled. We always feel that we don't have time. While it is true that all of us have only 24 hours and many times 24 hours seem woefully short, still we need to know that there are time-saving activities. And if we don't make time for time-saving activities, naturally we won't have time. Now what do we mean by a time-saving activity? Usually we hear about time-saving devices. If something would take you 1 hour earlier, if you use this device, it will take you half an hour. We'll save half an hour. So we talk about time-saving devices. But time-saving activity means that actually there are certain activities which save our time. Not by, I'm not talking about something which enable, some training which enables us to do things faster. But we're talking about something that consumes our time. And that is thoughts, desires, passions. So, emotions. And when our thoughts, desires and emotions are unstreamlined, are unregulated, then they take us in any and every direction and they consume our time in disproportionate magnitudes. So, for example, if a person is having a weakness for television, and then say some program starts off on TV, and then the person starts watching it, or nowadays if we consider internet browsing, so we start browsing one site and second site and third site and fourth site and fifth site, and by the end of it all we find that we have actually wasted several hours on surfing on the net. So just as we might surf physically on the net, and basically we are there being led by our thoughts. One thought is leading to the other, to the third, to the fourth, and we are just getting caught and dragged here and there by our thoughts. But similarly, we may also be dragged within our mind. So the mind has different, just like there are different websites which might link through the internet, and our thoughts get linked to this and to that and to that and that. And as we get linked to these various thoughts, we get dragged here and there and everywhere, and we end up feeling miserable, we end up feeling frustrated, we end up feeling annoyed, irritated, exasperated, and thus we can't move onwards in our life because we waste time. These thoughts within waste our time. So suppose somebody sees some obscene image on a internet site or some site somewhere, and that image gets glued to the mind, and that consumes, it triggers desire, it triggers feelings, it triggers thoughts, and one gets mentally locked onto that image and is not able to think about anything else. Now that takes so much time. So when we practice meditation, when we strive to be conscious of Krishna, this purifies us. And when we become purified, that means these impure thoughts, emotions, desires, which unnecessarily consume our time, they start going away. And the more they go away, the more we can become focused and productive. So in that sense, meditation on Krishna is an extremely potent time-saving activity. So Krishna talks about his how Prashanta Manasam Hyenam Yoginam Sukhamuttamam Upaiti Shanta Rajasam Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham. So he says Prashanta Manasam Hyenam, that by the practice of meditation, the mind will become prashanta, it will become completely peaceful. Yoginam Sukham Uttamam, the yogi experiences great happiness. Upaiti Shanta Rajasam, that the yogi experience becomes shanta, becomes very peaceful. Upaiti Shanta Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham, Brahma Bhutam, that one becomes, realizes one's spiritual identity. So to the extent we meditate on our spiritual identity and strive to live according to our spiritual nature, to that extent, and the way to do this is not just by intellection but by meditation. Not just we think that I am soul, but we actually practice meditation, meditate on spiritual sound vibration, on the holy name, on sacred chants, which raise our consciousness to the spiritual level. And the more our consciousness is raised to the spiritual level, the more our mind becomes pure. And thus meditation is actually a time-saving activity. So if we give time for this time-saving activity of meditation, then we will find that we will have time. The time which was earlier invisibly consumed and wasted by the time-wasting thoughts, desires, feelings, now that wastage will decrease substantially, and as the wastage decreases substantially, we will be able to become more focused, more fulfilled, and we'll be able to gain time and put better to better use all the time that we have.